The latest buzzword that I can see around us is something called new normal. Today morning when I opened the newspaper, there is a group of restaurant owners who are saying that the new restaurant would be contactless. And then I'm reading another lady who is heading some kind of a financial body saying that digital transactions will not just be new normal, but they'll be necessary for survival. So I stand extremely amused by this entire emerging idea. I can see even very prominent doctors saying that mass has to become the new normal. So the beauty of the discourse that is happening around us today is that everybody is talking about something that they are not really upfront and personal with. While I don't see any biologist or geneticist coming out and talking about what they know about what is this life on earth like, and what is this new normal that we are talking about, and how long will we survive if we talk this kind of rubbish, or rather we adapt this new normal. See this, if you look at the life around us, I would say that viruses kind of provided the words, and bacteria provided the syntax, and planet Earth provided the plot, and Mother Nature wrote a book that we call Life on Earth. And what we are trying to do is kind of a very amusing experiment of rewriting it with a new normal. So let's get a bit clear about what we are, and how this entire thing works. So this body that I have, it has got some kind of say information consistency because I have a skin. On the whole, that skin is not allowing everything to go really haywire. But I'm not designed like a plastic bag. I've got a mouth and a nose and all kind of different orifices through which I'm interacting with this environment in all different ways. And frankly speaking, this sense of I that I have is a very intellectually amusing idea that I'm harboring, but in reality it doesn't really mean much, because if I look at just my body and the kind of amount of cell it has, I have more alien cells in my body than my own cells. Own cells means the cells that are containing my Aadhaar card, the protein ID that my cells have, that they have to show to a immune system inspection. But I have tons of other not alien, but other life forms living on me, in me, and a lot of them are contributing to some of the very fundamental functions of my life. I'm sure the one part that we all know is gut flora, and how it not only contributes to how not just human beings, but how every animal digests food, and so basically the whole life on earth game is still the same. Bacteria do most of the job, viruses kind of bring about the change, enhance the vocabulary so that new chapters in this book can be written, but the theme is almost the same. So if we think that we stop interacting with our surroundings, and we don't allow these two very powerful forces of nature to kind of interact with us, it's actually a kind of we just delivering a death sentence to us. See, if you ask any modern geneticist, anybody who has really started looking at what is happening at the genetic level of how we synthesize things, there is a realization that genes are not the only deciding factor about how we manifest, how biological processes take place in every body. Basically, we all carry a kind of book written in DNA code, which has got all kind of chapters, and say some years back we believed that it only had chapters, which had to be read in continuation. But now we realize that it's a book with some kind of indexation, that okay, if you see this, then you open this page and read this. If you this happens, then you read this. So it's like, what is technically known as epigenetics, is that the expression of all the metabolic processes, all the genetic processes that are supposed to be in context of not just what is written there, but in context of the environmental factors that we interact with. So everything that we are looking today is now breaking free from the conventional idea of body. So we are an ecosystem, and we are part of an ecosystem, and these divisions are very, very, fragile. Not just fragile, but they are very porous. So what we eat is very much part of us. Today people have found that even if plant RNA is not really actively metabolized as far as we understand. That the RNA, that viral RNA that is brought into the body is red. Plant RNA is not red because we are not tuned to it, as I mentioned somewhere. But a lot of that RNA can be found floating in your body, if you eat plant diet. So what you eat also makes you, because you're eating food that is not just bringing nutrients, but it's also bringing genetic material, which is also readable material. So that means that these interactions that we are having with our surrounding, they all have a deep meaning to the normal functioning of our body. See, we are currently having a problem because we have broken all the ecosystems. So everybody is eating alien food coming from distant ecosystems, which is not what you evolved with. So we, at this point in time, we don't really know, because how human genetics is getting expressed, human genes are getting expressed, is getting extremely confusing. So and then in between we had this strange idea, probably out of Second World War, when Hitler scared the hell out of the idea of races from all of us. So we have got this funny idea that all of us are the same, the way virus would manifest in United States of America, and that Caucasian population would be same as it will be in India. That's a kind of intellectual rubbish for biologists. But the issue that is maybe more pertinent today is that if we go by this whole social distancing and wearing mask all the time in restaurants with people sitting distant for a long time, what will happen? What will happen will be very tragic. It will be very tragic socially, obviously, because we are social animals, and I don't think we are designed to be living in that way. And frankly speaking, if if 3%, half a percent, 2% virus can manage to do this to humanity, it's maybe the saddest thing that we can say hand over to our our coming generations. So I hope that social distancing is not something that we're going to passing down to our children. But anyways, if we do it, I don't think we'll go that far with the story of humanity also, because if we live in those kind of bubbles and we try to escape every pathogen, every virus that is interacting with us, we would become like maggots, which are maggots out of shell, which are completely devoid of an educated immune system. So ultimately, you know however amazingly great we become, disciplined we become, and we have all this kind of funny social distancing as we imagining, pathogens will be around. They'll manage. If we stop them, if we close some door, they'll open another door. Some other group of pathogens would come through other route. As I've always believed that the vector route is far more stronger. Insect populations that will be increasing due to climate change would be spelling the doom for us a lot sooner than this airborne viruses that we are talking about. But if you want to escape that fate, then the book of life has already solved this problem for us. We all have immunity, and that immunity is actually a gift from viruses. If we would, I would have time to do a video on it, I would love to do that. And this entire idea of digital currency becoming a necessity for human survival is, I hope, is smashan vairagya that is happening at this point in time. The wisdom that you have, momentary wisdom that you have when you are in crisis, But I hope that the masses would wake up and forget it very quickly, and we'll be back to who we are, instead of getting into. So I really hope that these are momentary, say, fears that we are harboring, but we'll be able to grow out of it. And a small rejoinder at the very end is that there are a lot of young people, a lot of startups who are thinking that they'll base their business models on this. In reality, I don't think that any of these ideas, distance education and calling from Zoom and work from home, have any future now, because we have tested them. We have understood that they don't really work. I would love to do this over a coffee table. So that means that this is not going to be something that humanity is really happy with. And I hope that remains to be the ultimate truth. And we don't become an Asimov's Solaria where human beings are, living in distant places purely out of an imaginary fear of, a pathogen. I hope that human beings are not reduced to something like that. Thank you.